What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so before I get into this video, I want to give a shout out to a couple of subscribers. I want to let you guys know I did see your donations, and I will be doing video requests tomorrow as far as videos. Shout out once again to the man, the myth, the legend, the brother, Rubber Mixer coming through via another donation. Salute to you. I saw your video request. Also, shout out to the brother Magnetic Discovery for the $14 donation, $15 donation via the PayPal. Salute to you. I saw your video request. And shout out to the brother Aaron for the $14 donation via the PayPal. And I see your video request as well. And it's a couple of people I need to knock out some videos too. So I'm going to get to those videos. Had other ones I had to knock out yesterday. And wasn't able to get to the video request today, but I will knock them out tomorrow. Salute to you guys. So look, man, Draymond Green has been in the news heavy as of late. I mean, absolutely heavy. And it pretty much stems from a podcast that Kenyon Martin, former NBA player, appeared on. And Kenyon Martin was asked about the great enforcers in the history of the game. And he named guys that he played with, some other players. And when asked about Draymond Green, he said that, he just didn't think that Draymond was one of the great enforcers of all time. He thought that Draymond was more calculating and he picked and choose who he tried some of those antics with. Now, he didn't say that he thought Draymond was a scrub or anything like that. He just said, I don't think that he's a great enforcer. It was Draymond Green who made it about resume and, who's greater and who's better. He did that. But somehow people, when they're pro Draymond, they make it seem like as if Kenyon Martin flipped the script and made it about career and all that. But Kenyon Martin defended himself and said that, he knows 50 power forwards, and he lists them who are better than Draymond. And me and my subscribers, we tacked on about a good 20, 25 more that are better than Draymond. And then, over that last several days, we could think of even 20 or 30 more is better than Draymond. Ultimately, there's probably 200 power forwards we can name in the history of the game that are better than Draymond Green. And, look, man, this ain't a secret. Pretty much all of us believe, well, anybody that's not a homer, we all know that if Draymond was on some bad team, man, he would be an afterthought. He'd be an afterthought, and hell, he might even be playing today. So one of these persons who really believes that Steph Curry is the reason why Draymond might get into the Hall of Fame is none other than former NBA player Charlie Villanueva. And he's on a podcast, I think it's called To the Baja, something like that. And he voiced his opinion right here.
I'm about to spit on you. That's my new shit. Spit on niggas.
That's crazy disrespectful. We gonna have to box it up then.
We boxing then.
Yo.
Listen.
Yo,
you take Draymond, put him on. Pick a fucking team. Does he still have the same career?
If we trade Tony Parker,
is he still a Hall of Famer?
My God.
Is he still a Hall of Famer?
We're just making a point, Hong.
Bro,
you gotta be
is he still a Hall of Famer?
It depends on the situation, bro.
No.
He's a Hall of Famer because
here's my issue.
With the fucking
Theo
best
Pinson, run your race 2022, 2023, 2025.
Look, man. So what Charlie is basically saying is, man, in a roundabout way, is that Steph Curry and Klay Thompson have made his career, man. You could put KD there too, but KD was just basically just the top of the Dagwood Bumstead super deck sandwich. You know what I'm saying? Like Steph Curry and to a lesser extent Klay Thompson are the reason why Draymond Green is the Hall of Fame. You put him on a bad team. If he just played on the Kings his entire career, nobody would be talking about him being a Hall of Famer. Nobody. because the numbers that he puts up, 8 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. And that's him being the facilitator on this Warriors team. Those numbers are kind of comparable to maybe like a guy like, and I'm trying to think. If you take away the assists, right? If you take away the assists and bring them down to like 2, but wouldn't you say his numbers are kind of similar to like Luke Longley or like a late stage Bill Cartwright? Because Bill Cartwright in New York was averaging 20 points a night, but toward the end of his career with the Bulls, he putting about, I mean the end. I'm talking about like 92, 93, about 9 points, 5 rebounds maybe, right? But without the assists. But those numbers, and it's not just about numbers. It shouldn't just be about numbers, but let's be honest. Draymond Green is sort of like also the equivalency of some of those players that played with Bill Russell who are in the Hall of Fame because they played with Bill Russell. Like, I don't want to pick on any particular guy, but like a Jim Lustikoff or something like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and in baseball, like Phil Rizzuto. Phil Rizzuto was a very popular player, won a lot of championships for the New York Yankees. But ain't no goddamn way Phil Rizzuto should be in the Hall of Fame. And I liked him. He was a nice guy. He was he was a good broadcaster for so many years. But Scooter, I think his nickname was, but Phil Rizzuto was not a Hall of Famer. Okay? You shouldn't put Phil Rizzuto in the same sentence with Carlton Fisk, let alone Johnny Bench. What's the other one that was in the Hall of Fame recently? I think he's still alive, or he may have passed away recently. Bill Mazeroski hit a dramatic home run. I think it was for the Phillies or I think it was the Phillies against the Yankees in the early '60s, right? He's known for that moment, right? But if he played on a terrible team, he wouldn't be in the Hall of Fame, man. And that's just fair, man. Then the guy brought up Tony Parker. See, the thing about it, if anything, Tony Parker numbers suffered playing with the Spurs. If you put Tony Parker on a bad team, sure, he probably wouldn't have won any championships, right? But I'm pretty sure he would have elevated the team that he was on. And I get it. Sometimes certain players don't flourish in certain systems. But at the same time, a guy like Tony Parker, who would be an absolute beast today, by the way, superstar. You put Tony Parker on a bad team, he's going from averaging 19 points and 7 assists to probably average on 19 points and 8 assists to probably averaging around 27 or 20. That era, I say 26 and 8.5 or 9 assists in that era. Today, Tony Parker probably averaging around 30 points and 10 assists. Now, the team might not win a championship, but you do need talent, but you do recognize his productivity. You do recognize his excellence. See, that's the thing. If Draymond Green was coming out here when Steph Curry was hurt, when Klay Thompson was hurt, he had his chance to prove it to us that he was great. If he was coming out then, when they were absent, when Klay Thompson was coming back from that back-to-back ACL/Achilles injuries, he was out. And when Steph Curry was hurt that year, when he hurt his hand, I think he only played 5 games. That was Draymond Green's time to shine. And he failed miserably. Okay? On national televised games, he did everything he could to get ejected from the game. I watched him. Or in those pivotal games, he would somehow always have a convenient injury. And then another thing he does is when Clay is hurt and they play in a marquee game, he finds some way to sit his ass down too. That was the year Draymond was supposed to come out. I said, you know what? Fuck it. I'm not even gonna say 20 and 10. Come on, average 15 and 10 that year. If you can average 15.7 points and 10.5 rebounds and 8.3 assists, some shit like that, I'll just shut the hell up. Nope. He didn't elevate his game one iota. Not one iota. You understand me? Because he can't. He's a glue guy. And if you start putting glue guys in the Hall of Fame, in the NBA, you might as well just call it the WWE NBA Hall of Fame. I'm just going to make up my own Hall of Fame. And I won't ever call that dude Hall of Fame in my video. I'm going to address him as fake Hall of Famer. And by the way, this dude talking about the other day when he was talking about swing guys and how Nick Young swung the series for the Houston Rockets and all that. Nah. Mike D'Antoni's bad coaching swung the series in favor for y'all guys. The Rockets' refusal to stop shooting threes in Game 7 swung the game to y'all. So swung the series to y'all. So by your logic, you calling LeBron a B and getting suspended for Game 5, that swung the series from y'all to Cleveland. It's your fault, right? I mean, that's the game that was most pivotal for the Warriors. So by your own words, you swung the series away from the Warriors with your antics. Never mind, you came back in Game 7 and had the best game of your career. I give you that. But you ruined Game 7, Game 5. But anyway, that's all I got to say about it. Tell what you guys think.